Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Strangers Park. I'm your host Zurkie, and I have a very special guest.
Woo-hoo!
One and only, Wix Patton.
Let's go!
What's up?
The studio audience is in here, you know.
Oh yeah. We got live audience all around us.
There's so many people in here. Y'all gotta calm down, quiet down.
Bro, okay, you're fresh off the plane.
Fresh off.
You've been working like a dog.
Man, come on, you know UGA.
UGA, man, it's in the blood. Tell us what your life has been like the last 2-3 months, because you've been all over the US, you've been traveling, you've been working. What's been going on in the Wix world?
Man, it's been super exciting because I've just, God's blessed me with some new opportunities, getting to work on my debut album and getting to fly out to LA and fly out to Nashville and work with different, guitar players, bass players, drummers, and just piano players, every types of instrumentalists that are just pushing my sound, and getting to work with producer Scatterbrains and Big Corey, and just, not only bringing together the roots of the people that helped me create, all the stuff leading up to here, but also some new power players, and just getting in and just making the best work I possibly can, and just, wanting my first body of work to just embody just really everything in which that the past few years has made me into, and my best work I can give out,
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've had a journey like an artist like no other, because I mean, you've gone through the highs and lows, and really it shows through the music, and also the way that you've changed your sound, kind of from that original R&B, more like sing rap, to now you've gotten really into your rock roots. So I guess what has really been your inspiration when it's come to looking at different artists and taking their change and applying it to your own process as an artist?
Yeah.
And kind of finding that, finding those different sounds.
Man, I'm always inspired by different artists, and hearing them, not only maybe just whether it's just them putting themselves out there in a certain way or being fearless, you know what I'm saying? And for me, in creating the music, I feel like early on, working with the producers I got the chance with, they were constantly playing different vibes, because they were working with all different types of artists, and I would hear something and it would be so amazing, because if I hear something that's good in whatever genre, it makes me want to express myself in whatever way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would hear these beats and these different songs, and I'm like, man, it would pull my heartstrings, because it would remind me of an amazing song, from different artists. I may not even know their name, but it's a melody it reminded me of, and I'm like, man, I want to recreate that same feeling, that I felt from those artists and things like that, but in my own way, from my own words, So
yeah.
I just never wanted to pass up on anything, working with Tricky Stewart, and he produced for Rihanna and Justin Bieber and Frank Ocean and the works, and so I was just like, man, anytime I heard something, I wanted to challenge myself and dig deep,
Yeah, so okay, you talk about feeling, man. I your music has almost been the entire soundscape to my first year here at UGA, bro. Because I remember I was looking up artists, I found you, and I heard 100 Miles, I heard Why, and I was like, dude, and I would just be walking around campus, earbuds in, listening to that shit. So
thanks, dude.
Just giving you your flowers, because you deserve them. But
thank you so much.
I want to ask, obviously, we go back to where you had your freestyle that went viral. You had a huge moment. You're performing at different parties. I mean, you're living life as an athlete at UGA, and you're doing your own thing as an artist, kind of building that world.
Yeah.
So when you first made the decision to really go full in as an artist, what kind of emotions were you going through? Because I know you had all this hype, everything happened, right? And then it's day one, back to basically ground zero, gotta make shit work. So what was that like?
Yeah, it was really tough, but I felt like I was in that time, I felt like the smartest thing to do, because, the NCAA was kind of telling me, what I could and couldn't do. I was like, if I'm gonna go all in, I have to go all in. I was really inspired by an artist named John Bellion, and he dropped out as well, and just, he really just went home and just took time to really master his craft, and then he put out an amazing product, and I seen what it did for him. And so I really identified with that, and that was something that was inspiring me. And my other fellow athletes and stuff like that, I was watching them put in the work and do what they needed to do to be, and watching them change their lives, go from us, having to put money together to get food or whatever in college, to them having millions of dollars in their bank account. And I was just like, man, you have to put in a lot of good years, but a few good years of grinding really, really, really hard, and eventually you're gonna get to where you wanna be, even if right now people look at you and they're like, no way.
Right.
You know, if you have that vision for yourself and you're very, very passionate about it, and you take the time to put in the work every day, you'll eventually become what you always wanted to be. And so that's kind of how I viewed it. And it was an emotional time for sure, like, cause not to cut you off, my fault, but just like with, you know, parents and different people, you're trying to convince everybody around you. You know, I went and had meetings with every single coach that I worked with at Georgia, and my players, my teammates, and told them what I wanted to do, and they all really supported me, you know what I mean? And I knew I had to go back and start from basically ground zero, but I did genuinely feel like in my heart as an artist, I would make it further, putting the time in, even if I had to restart, than just like, I could grind it out in football, but my heart was so deep in the music. I sound like Troy Bolton from High School Musical.
Heart in the soul.
Yeah, literally. But genuinely, like that was kind of what it was. I was doing music all throughout high school and middle school, dropping music and stuff, and getting clowned by everybody in my hometown and different things like that. But I loved it so much, and you know, football, I got cut in the 8th and 9th grade, and basketball, 7th and 8th grade. I was getting cut from sports constantly, so it was like I was going back and forth between the two. And then when I got the opportunity with football, I cut all the music stuff out, you know, focused on football, went all in towards that. And then when music came back again, the way it made me feel, and finally getting noticed and recognized, and people respecting me as an artist and seeing it in me, it was enough for me to say, like, I'm never looking back. And I just, you know, I'm still on that journey right now.
Yeah, and I remember watching the documentary that you had like early on, where you were doing the little vlogs of working like in the house, you know, I think with Big Corey too, and you guys would cook up like from like, you know, 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. just like making beats and stuff. Like, I mean, those are the moments that you, when you're in them, you know, it's so early on in your career, you're kind of like, damn, dude, this like, where's this gonna go? But you need that in order to.
Yeah, well, back then your heart is just so set on like prove it, because you see all the opportunities that can happen. You know, you're being told what's possible, what's like, and you're having these opportunities, and it's like the ball's in your court. You can make the music right now. So my heart was just so passionate in proving that, like, proving Oomp Camp right, and proving all the people that had backed me for so long that like I promise you, I'm gonna be that artist that takes it there. I'm gonna make sure that all the work y'all are putting in, all the money y'all are putting in, I'm gonna make it work. And I was so set on that. So back then it was like proving myself and getting those records. And you know, I made hundreds of songs, and a lot of them, who knows if they'll ever see the light of day. But it's like, it was just creating nonstop, and it was just such an amazing time. And the sad thing about those documentaries is the fact that we shot like 2.5 years of footage. And one of my best friends, Donovan Brooks, you know, we had got together and we were shooting those vlogs because I wanted so desperately to people to see my blueprint and my like raw, you know, transparent, you know, version of like me going through Atlanta and trying to come up as an artist in the city. You know what I mean? In every aspect, from the highs to the lows, to the wins, to the losses, and every single moment, I wanted it to be on there. And we had a good amount of episodes come out, and then one night after we shot the music video for my song, Have Some Fun, a bunch of the people went out to celebrate and went to Red Martini, and my videographer got his car broken into, and they stole 4 hard drives, his laptop, and all the hard drives actually included like my vlogs that we had shot. Yeah, so we lost everything. And that was like heartbreaking for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so inspired by Wiz Khalifa. And it's not over, you know, I can still document the journey now, and I'm never gonna stop, but in those moments, they're so hard, you know what I mean? Because you're like, a lot of people will quit, or they'll start feeling a certain way, but you just gotta keep going. And so that was a rough part. But yeah, I was really inspired by Wiz Khalifa and Machine Gun Kelly and different artists who were, even Mike Stud, like different artists that are putting out their like tour vlogs and showing their life as an artist, because it's like, man, like, who wouldn't want to live that type of lifestyle? You know, for me, I was just so inspired by every single aspect of it, and the fact that I could sit and watch it and then go and like want to go be that. You know, I mean, I had a real visualization of what that was. So, yeah.
When like, I mean, obviously that's heartbreaking, bro. I mean, that's your come up. So many stories, so many moments.
Yeah.
And just like gone like that. When you have those kind of moments that put you really in this funk, and you're like, dude, like, shit is at a low. How do you use those moments as inspiration for your work? Do you usually use them? Like, where do you kind of go with your mindset and your headspace? Like, when you get in the booth and you start, you know, making magic happen.
And you know, like, depending on the vibe of the song is how I approach it. But if it's definitely something that I'm working on, like now everything I make is very intentional, you know what I mean? But if I'm telling a story, if I'm pulling from a very real place, then for me, it's like I have to go into that space that's uncomfortable and talk about those things, and usually it's like I get super emotional and stuff. And you try so hard, the thing in the studio, you try so hard, everybody in there, to keep it light. So it's like constant jokes, constant, the most I don't care energy ever, but you're trying as hard as you can, because it's like the moment things feel like work, it's boring, you know what I mean? Or like the moment that, you know, like for me, I am around these musicians that are shredding on the guitar, all these different things, and I'm starstruck. And so I'm complimenting every second, like the first 2 sessions, you know what I mean? They're kind of like just making jokes out of it the whole time, and I'm realizing that like, that's the only way to keep things light. Everybody's talented and stuff like that, but you gotta just almost treat it like you don't care. But for me, like even songs on this album, I was writing them and pacing back and forth to the studio, like crying. One song is called, like, all the time I do that. I'd break down crying in the studio to big chord, whatever, going through what I'm going through, have panic attacks, and then go through and finish the song and just work on it. Because I'm a very emotional person, and I definitely am very in touch with everything that I feel. Like I feel things very strongly, you know, whether I'm angry or very happy or sad or different things, I really feel it. So I try to express that to the fullest, to where people can be in that same space and really identify with what I was trying to give, you know, not only the imagery, but like be able to feel like they really identify with it, you know, it's like really genuine, so.
Definitely. And I think, I mean, you see it with your fans, you have fans that tattoo lyrics on themselves from your music.
It's been such a blessing, man.
That's huge. So you're making that impact, like, you know, and that must be an incredible feeling.
It is, man, because, you know, like songs that, you know, may hurt when I play them or whatever, or like not to be whatever, but like,
nah, bro.
It sucks, you know, to listen to them because of what I'm talking about, and it makes me think about those moments, but then everyone else enjoys it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it makes them feel so good, and it's kind of like a superpower, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, bet, how can I continue to do this and get it out there in the best way possible, you know? And that's why content is such a big thing now, man, because it's like the way that you put yourself out there and the way people digest your music and they digest who you are is so important, because you could have the best music ever, but the way that maybe people see it or they hear it can just be in a way that's just off-putting or not connecting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you've been consistent as hell with the content on YouTube,
man.
Bro. I've been like, you are posting, bro, like a reel a day, like.
Yes.
Where'd the inspiration for that, like, I remember just one day you were like, I'm go. Like, you just start posting, and it's like,
man,
you know.
I had a meeting with this guy named Derek Lattery. I was working with him. I still do work with him, but he's the artist Toby Lou, his manager.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
So he was the one telling me like, yo, YouTube Shorts are the new thing. Like, you need to get on it. And I was already like frustrated that I missed out on TikTok. And every single artist and creative, a lot of artists, they have a weird relationship with things like TikTok, because they see how powerful and explosive it is.
Yeah.
And when they're not doing, and they're not good at it and they don't know how to do it, they almost feel like not having it at all is a better look than having like a few followers. You know what I mean?
Right.
When it's like, you just gotta start and go. And I wish I would have did that. But anyways, so now I'm on it. You know, now I'm on TikTok heavy, but with YouTube Shorts, it was like my second chance. I felt like, okay, bet I can hit the wave early and catch the algorithm.
Yeah.
And it was working. And so I was very happy. I'm like, wow, like I post a music video, you know what I mean? And it maybe gets, let's say, you know, however many views, like, and in a month, you know what I mean? And then I posted some YouTube Shorts and it's getting the same amount in like an hour, you know what I mean? Or 2 hours, and then you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So you see the power of it, and the power that it's like showing it to random people only, you know what I mean? Like, it shows to your followers, but it's definitely always picking up in that algorithm, just like TikTok. So I just decided that, you know what? I want to put out tons of videos, and then for me to put out a lot of content, let me create an incentive to put out more and more, like a series. So I decided that I would come out with these things called rules.
Yeah.
So all my shorts are like it's like rule 3,000 or something now, but I've just kind of kept them going for each video so that people could see them, and if they found a video that they really liked, it'd make them want to watch way more and just keep watching all the way. And so like, what's the first ever one? What's this? And so that was just my idea, almost like Ned's Declassified, you know what I'm saying? And that was my idea with the shorts. So with just content, yeah, man, you just got to put yourself out there. And for me, I also viewed it as like, you know, I was watching videos of Lil Peep after he passed, and X, and dying to know more about them and who they were as a person, because I connected with their music so hardcore that I'm dying to see videos of like him with his friends, dying to see him in the studio, dying to see all these different videos of who he was as a person, because you identify with the music so much. You're like, man, like maybe, you know what I mean? Like you want to connect to them more. And I felt like I wanted my fans to have that so bad that, you know, let's say I do blow up, and let's say, you know, the bigger I get, and even if this is the biggest I get, I'm very thankful for the audience and fans that I have. But I'm saying that I want them to be able to really know who I am and feel like they really have somebody that they can identify with or really like relate to in any type of way, you know what I mean, or laugh at, get inspired by, whatever it is.
Yeah, and something as simple as you posting even like, you know, SpongeBob popsicle, bro.
Yeah, it's
like
just people knowing who you were and feeling like they were buddies with you too, and then it just means so much more when you hear the music and you hear what they went through.
Definitely.
And so that was my thing. I'm like, I need to leave that behind, and you know,
just be yourself. And it takes vulnerability, bro, because I've made stuff in the past where I'm like, bro, I look like such a fucking, you know, I look ridiculous. But at the same time, you know, part of me was like, this is how people are going to get to know me. If I'm not authentic and I'm not honest, then like, what's the point in any of the other work, like if they don't get to know me? But bro, speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, like, with your performances, you always come with the most energy, and you always feed off like the crowd in terms of like the energy. And I'm sure like in years of touring and like trying to make stuff work, you've had some crowds that were not giving you that energy.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard in the beginning, man. Like I can't even tell you, like, because I was like, you know, while playing football at Georgia, I'm able, and I'm dropping songs, you know what I mean, and now they're picking up a lot of attention because I'm using the utilization of the fact that I'm a UGA football player and attracting audience that way, and, you know, getting support from other college athletes and different people, my teammates that are blasting it out too. So that was a huge help. But the thing that I was missing, and I'm getting these opportunities because people are booking me and they're saying, okay, let's book this guy. He's got a ton of pull. He's got some excitement around him right now. Let's do it. But I had no guidance as far as how to perform or do anything. So I'm like going and doing these rehearsals at my dad's church and different things like that, doing rap songs after it's closed. And my dad's like, no, you're not doing it right. You're not doing this right. You're not doing it right. So it just took multiple, you know, times to learn. And I would have to, a lot of the times too, like what I was getting at too, is while being a football player and not having the experience is like I would get put into these big crowds in Atlanta and opening for like Hood Rich Pablo Juan or the sailing team with Lil Yachty in them, or getting to open up for, I got to open up for Young Nudie a couple of times. This is like while I'm in college. And so I'm getting out in front of all these people and my stage presence just isn't there. My energy's not really all the way there. I'm not all that loud and I'm not all the way feeling myself. You have to be, like the thing is when you're on stage, the more that you're feeling yourself and the more confident that you are, the more people are gonna buy into that, and they're gonna feel you. Like people are not gonna be feeling you if you're not feeling yourself.
Yeah.
And so having that energy and keeping it up is when people eventually follow. And then my whole goal with being on stage is that, just like me, you know, I'm going through all these things. When I get on stage and I'm performing, I want everybody to let that go and just allow themselves to really enjoy the moment, get inspired, cry, feel whatever they need to feel. Because, you know, whenever you're listening to music or you're experiencing these things in different places and you go and you hear it and you're around other people who feel the same music, it's such an experience, you know, it's just such a powerful thing.
Definitely.
And so I want people to, you know, experience the fullest experience of the, I keep saying experience. I want people to experience the best of that I can give them every single show, no matter where I'm at. You know what I mean?
What was your favorite show? Or do you have like a 3 that were really, really memorable that you were like, that energy was just unmatched? Like I don't think
Mississippi State with Roscoe Dash. The first time he ever brought me on the road, I was pretty like excited and nervous because he's seen me perform in Athens, Georgia at the Warehouse. That's how we met.
Nice.
And that was a really, really great show. I went and talked to him, and then he invited me to open up for him at Mississippi State, cool, at a fraternity. When we got there, it was just slammed packed, hundreds of people. And, you know, before I go on, we're in the frat house, people are going crazy. Like he looks out the window, every place is going nuts. It was one of those nights. You're like, oh shoot, we're like Justin Bieber. So I'm about to perform. It's 5 minutes before I go on. You know, I'm backstage. I'm like, let's get it. And the whole crowd's like, Roscoe Dash, Roscoe Dash. But I'm about to be performing. So you see, the only problem with that is when people are so excited and they want to see someone and you give somebody else.
Uh-oh.
You like, people are like, what the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, what is this? So the odds are super against you. But I came out there, man. The DJ was like, we got this artist all the way from Wix Patton, the biggest rock star. And she dropped my song, and I just came out there and just like rocked it, had all the energy. And I remember just the whole place going nuts. All the girls screaming. They were pushing past the barrier. The security was having to hold the thing up.
Oh my gosh.
It was just nuts, man. That was an unbelievable feeling. The whole, like, it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? The whole place was just, it was just crazy. So that was an amazing show, Mississippi State. That was a defining moment. And then the next show, actually right after that, Mobile, Alabama. You know, and I was dying to prove. And Roscoe started bringing me on stage. That was the first show he brought me on stage too, was that Mississippi State night. And we like pop champagne right on No Hands in front of like, you know, a couple thousand people, and they're going nuts and jumping in the crowd.
Yeah.
First time I ever crowd surfed was at Mobile, Alabama, and that was in front of like a really big promoter who was there at the time. And so he gives me the opportunity to perform. It's a big ass crowd, and again, they don't know Wix Patton. They're chanting Roscoe Dash. I'm like, fuck. So bet, go out there, and I ended up that show crowd surfing from the front of the stage to the very back and back to the front with John Wix. And so singing the whole entire chorus.
Oh my God. Was John Wix out?
John Wix was...
Wow. Oh.
I don't know if it was out at the time, bro.
Because that was in the vault for a minute.
Bro, it was in the vault since I was 21 years old. So I may have dropped it when I was 23 or 24, and it was in the vault since I was 20, because I said, 21, we gonna see what comes. So I'm talking about being 21 years old.
Right.
And I didn't drop it till way later.
Wow.
Yeah, man, because that's what it's like, man. When you sign to a label, and you know you're going through artist development, and you're going through the different stages of, you know, they're trying to help build the artist. You never know exactly what song is gonna pop. So you're just like, man, which one do we go with? Do we wait? What do we do? Do we build up to it? You know, there's all these different strategies, and at the end of the day, I think you want to just keep firing off music to your fans, you know what I mean? And
definitely.
Of course, when you're trying to, you know, you're like, do we put budgets into this? What type of video do we want for this? You know, because you're like, this single could be a change your life single, or do we just keep firing off until we hit something that's hot? You know, it's like different ways of doing things. So.
And then in the meantime, like you were still, you know,
still
making music,
grinding and putting out songs, SoundCloud, yeah.
I mean, you have like how many records now with Simba? You have one with your brother.
Me and Simba have 70 songs out right now in a year and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you guys work on like a project together, you guys just lock in like for a whole.
Well, how we do it now is, well, like from the very beginning, it stemmed from, I was leaving LA and I was on the plane. I watched Lil Peep's documentary, and it absolutely just made me sob my eyes out. Like in front of everybody on the plane, I was sobbing, and I was just like, damn. I felt so connected to it, and I felt like I knew what I had to do and the type of life that came with it and all the things. I feel like I was able to identify with it so much, and I respected so much what he was doing to build with his friends and his peers.
Right.
And I had, you know, fresh out of dropping out of UGA, I signed to Big Oak Records or whatever. I signed to Atlantic Global Music like a few months after. Like I got with Big Oak and Big Corey like 2 months after dropping out. So I'd always been working with teams and things like that. I never really was invested with working with friends and putting music out other than one song, Man in the Middle. So I'm like, okay, I really want to do this with the people around me. How can I get with my best friends and put out music and make it genuine? And it's okay if it's underground. It's okay if it's not pretty. It's okay if it's not polished and mixed and mastered by the GOATs. Like, let me put out real music that people can identify with and see growth, and just have music that identifies with my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I identified with what Lil Peep and Lil Tracy were doing, and I was like, I want to do the same thing with me and Simba. And so I got home and got with Simba, and it was like, at the time I was going through a rough relationship, and I was really going through it, and we broke up, and I just was staying at Simba's at the time, and you know, my way of coping through things was we just locked ourselves in the studio, and he had like a little mic, a little laptop set up. We're sitting in his room, and he just has a sock on the mic. Like, that's our setup, and we just sat in there and recorded and recorded and recorded and recorded and recorded.
And that's when Welcome to the Party.
Yeah, all those songs. And so album after album after album, it was a way for me to paint my picture without, you know, when I worked with the label, it was songwriters in there. It's a lot of collaboration. It's a lot of different things like that. When I'm working with Simba, I'm just in there painting a white piece of paper, however I want. You know what I mean? And it's just like, let me come up with whatever I really feel in the moment and really just write however, you know what I mean? So, so that was why it was a fun thing for me. And so I wanted to put out, and you know, while I'm going through the label and we're going single by single, I'm like, I'm so passionate about putting out bodies of works because I love albums. I love listening to track 1 to track 10 or however many songs it is, and seeing the story unfold and finding records that I really like. And so,
for sure, man.
you know, while I'm not getting to do that, I'm doing singles. I'm like, let me put out these bodies of work with Simba and really push my brother and support him in any way too, you know?
Yeah. For any artist out there who's watching this, do you have any words of wisdom or any, like, you know, things that you think an artist should be cautious of, like when they have like a big moment and then they have a lot of attention from a lot of different people, and there's a lot of labels like knocking doors? Is there anything that you kind of think is very, very important for them to understand?
I mean, get a lawyer to read over whatever, if it's a contract. And then for me, it's you really don't need a major cosign. If you're doing something right and you're getting everybody's attention, then continue to do what you're doing, because all the label's gonna do is just throw money and features into what else you're doing, which is great. So just make sure that whatever you're doing, you utilize the levers that you've already built to get that attention, so that you can get yourself in a deal that really benefits you, and put time in to really build yourself up, and don't feel like you need a label to blow you up in the beginning. You need to put in work for a few years, and then once you get to a position where you're really making money and it's really making a profit, and you need a team around you to just expand what you're doing, then it makes sense.
Right.
But until then, you know, artist development is great. If you have a team that really, really believes in you and they're independent, rock with them. You know what I mean? Do whatever you got to do. But that would be my advice to you. And don't think that people will sell you dreams in this industry. So don't think that all talk is really what's going to happen. And, you know, be careful for people that are really, really, really friendly in the industry, because a lot of times they're not who they seem to be.
Right.
And when you do find genuine people around you that are in this business, keep them close. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody who's honestly willing to put money into you before you blow up or anything like that, they really, really believe in you, and you should stick with them. And don't leave them behind because you see other glitter and gold somewhere else.
Yeah.
Rock with the people that you know, that you started with.
Has Atlanta as like a place been good for you, like creatively, and especially like with music? Like, what kind of vibe do you feel in Atlanta versus when you go work in cities like Nashville, in cities like LA, with all these different producers? Like, how do you compare the two?
I'd compare it with, for me, Atlanta is, you know, like working with Big Oom Records, working with Big Corey and them, you know, that's like a home base. You know, that's always been somewhere where just felt like home. We could get in there for as long as, you know, however we needed to, with songwriters, different people like that, you know, and it's a comfortable surrounding, and you know, it's a nice place to cook up. I feel like in Nashville, it's fun because it's more of a challenge, you know, because, you know, we're just in like a house, and it's fun because we can go downstairs, we can go to the pool, we can take a break, and then we can come upstairs and we can really, really lock in over at Scatterbrains' house. And that's more of a home environment. And I don't know, yeah, in LA for me it's more of like, it's just different vibes. You know, it's really, really sunny out there. I love the way it feels, the weather. The weather is a big thing for me, honestly, in the way that I want to create, depending on how it feels.
And you shot 100 miles there, right?
100 miles, yep, in Beverly Hills, California, and that was an unbelievable experience, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, just a magical thing about LA and the way that it feels out there. And it's nice to be able to go back and forth and get inspiration and get a new sense of energy to want to grind out over there. You know, in LA, I like to collaborate with different people out there and just hang out with different folks and see what they're creating. And a lot of times I go to LA and the music out there is either trash or it's phenomenal. And I'm like, wow, this is like, I need to go back to the drawing board. It's so inspiring. And same with Nashville, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of great artists that had to compete with other people who really put in a lot of time. So you can tell by when you hear it in their music, you know what I mean? Yeah. So even if that genre isn't your favorite, like for me, even if I don't listen to that genre, you can tell when good music is good music. And so I'm attracted to it and inspired by it no matter what it is.
For sure. And I gotta shout out, because I know you're homies with Justin Escalona.
Yes.
Out in LA together.
Yeah, I caught him on the way over here.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice, bro. Nice. Yeah. He's from the same hometown as I am.
What?
Yeah, from Palatine.
Oh, wow. That's so cool, man.
Illinois, man. Same Chicago blood. So that's not nuts. But one more thing I wanted to ask, bro. New record. Debut for you, like real debut. What's going through your mind? What's left to do? And like, how excited are you for this to finally be
Man,
out, bro?
I am like I'm so excited, mainly just because I do feel like it's my best body of work, and I feel like there's just so much just transparency and raw truth of just like my journey and me talking about what's going on and things that are really hitting close to home. Well, also they're just exciting and the production is next level, and it's just, I know live and the experience when you hear it, it's just gonna be something that feels so nostalgic yet like fresh, you know what I mean, and futuristic, and something that's just like gives you a new sense of like palate and taste bud, you know what I mean, to just hearing some. So I'm just really, really excited, and you know, everybody I'm working with on this new album it's like different, you know, the videographers and everything. So I'm just excited for people to see what we're doing, and yeah.
That's that. Strangers Park, we're out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Preach. Thank you, brother.
Come on in.
Yeah, come on in. You're in.
Wyatt Patton, baby.
Are we running? Are we okay?
Live?
All right.
All right, what is this, the Lil Bro segment?
Lil bro.
It's an honor, man.
Oh man, what's up, Wyatt?
Nothing much, man. Doing good.
All right, so the story of both of your like collab EP,
Yes.
how'd that come into fruition?
So basically, I wanted to make music that could like replicate the life that I was living in a cool way, and so I like to like pregame with my friends and stuff. Which is already trying to answer the question for me. He's in my ear, pregame and stuff. Don't worry, I got this, bro. Don't worry. This is my first interview though, and I wanted to do it right and get it with Zurkie, man, because I see the quality of his work and his freaking color grading. It's incredible.
Wow,
so it's an honor. It really is an honor, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to make an album that like replicated the way I would pregame with my friends and the music that we like, and so I was like, oh my gosh, after each song I would make, I would spend hours and hours writing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's only right to have my brother a part of this. So he would show up and just do his part in about 10 minutes after I would probably write for like 2 or 3 days, and he'd come up with these clever lines, and I'm like, I don't know how he does it. So for 8 songs in a row, I just brought him up to the studio.
Yeah.
Shout out Full Moon Studio with Guess.
Full Moon, Guess got a bag.
Guess got a bag,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
And so we were able to get that together in like a month, and we put it out, and history from there.
Yeah. Okay. So, question about Wow. Should be like Megan
Megan
Thee
Thee
Stallion.
Stallion.
Yeah. Who had the first verse on that? And also, like when you heard that song, where you're like, dude, this is gonna go crazy at shows. Like the hook is dummy.
Wyatt started off every single song and brought it to me one at a time. So like every time we would link up and come in town, like in Peachtree City to our parents' house, we would get in the car and have these sessions where we would just play each other music. So
Yeah.
he started out with this first track that we actually ended up not even putting on the album that's coming out soon.
Right.
It's called Let's Go. He played me this first track, and I was like, yo, I have to hop on this. And honestly, that was the first song I ever did with Wyatt ever, because I didn't want to. People would always ask me, like, are you going to do music with your brother when he first started? And we didn't make music together for the first 2 years of him creating. And it was just really him. Like, I wanted him to really, like, learn, take time to find himself as an artist, meet people, build a team, and just have, like, his own legs to stand on and be his own artist. And so I heard that song, and I was like, nah, I have to get on that song. Like, it was crazy. And then the rest was history. He would just... different songs he would play me, you know, it'd be like, okay, this is a solo record, this is a solo record. Okay, no, I have to hop on this one too. Okay, every single song that he played was like a moment of like, oh my gosh, I have to get on
You
this.
gotta hop on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that for about 12 songs in a row. And it was honestly an honor to be able to work with my brother. It was cool because I write and just like preparation. He's more off of feeling. Like he just play it, punch. And I'm like, I have to be super calculated and rhyme every single freaking syllable. And that's just like the standard that I have. And it was really cool just to see both of those aspects into one song, one album. So
Do you guys feed off each other, like when you work together?
Yeah.
Or it's
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bro, my brother is so much like, our sense of humor is the same. So
Yeah, y'all are trolls. Y'all are like
it
high
is
key
so
trolls, bro.
fun, man.
Yeah.
When we're together, I mean, usually we're like fighting, like we're those like young. We're like the two little brothers from Cheaper by the Dozen. We're like that, but like grown. So like I feel like we're just always just having a great time, never taking things too seriously. And so in the studio, I mean, besides actually the creation process, like Wyatt is so locked in, takes it so seriously and so on it, and same with me. But then it's like we have so much fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and Wyatt is so so in charge of his creative process, from the videos to the content to the music. He's like the director of it and everything like that. So it's just fun to bounce off of the different ideas and the different perspectives and just, you know, come together and just make something dope that we feel like just can, you know, represent not only brothers across the planet, but just anybody out there just, you know, going after something. And, you know, we're two different people, but it's two different personalities, but it's like we come together and it's like, it's a powerful thing, you know, we connect like two peas in a pod.
Definitely.
100%.
Wyatt, how does Wix inspire you to be a better artist?
Wix inspired me to do music, period. I mean, seeing what he was doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And also seeing what he did in football. I mean, dude played at University of Georgia, and like, I was not putting in the same work that he was putting in high school leading up to high school. I mean, he went D1, and I went to University of North Georgia in Oconee, which was like, shout out, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out my guys at UNG, man.
Yes, sir.
So like, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I really wish I would have went hard in sports, but I seen what he was doing with music, and I was like, why don't I give it a shot? And I feel like it was God giving me another chance. I fell in love with it, and I saw the direct impact I could make on people's life with the music and the fun that I was having with it. And I was like, let's see how far I could take it. And the first song I ever made was a Caterpillar. I'm just like rapping my ass off. Mm-hmm. And Wix is like, bro, I really think you have a shot at this. And so Wix inspired me to do all of this. I saw the motion that he has, and it's really cool. I got my grades up. I got into Georgia, the business school, my music. I've gained a lot of popularity. And I'm like, you know, it's just like God giving me a second chance with music.
Right. And also, I mean, one thing that is so apparent for both of you is just like content grind. Like, you've been grinding, like putting out content like a motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think to make it in the music industry now is you have to be a content creator.
How do you feel about that? Like real talk, like how do you feel about that? Because I talk to every artist, and like most people are like, it sucks, but that's just what it is. Like, that's just life. Like,
it sucks. It's what it is. That's why I was telling Wix, I'm like, bro, we're gonna have to just be making content. Wix is like, nah, I don't want to have to take that route. Like, because Wix, you know, coming out of UGA, he was like, he having labels on him and like A&Rs and all these people, and he's like, that's the last thing that I want to do. Like that corny stuff, putting yourself out there, but it's like, it's necessary. And so honestly, you're just always growing. Whether you're doing something embarrassing, just post it, man, because you're always growing as an artist and a content creator.
For sure.
And you find the right niche and the right way to express yourself based on your personality and your way of like, this is how you want people to digest whatever it is you're trying to get people to be put onto, whether it's your music or your sense of humor or whatever it is, you know what I mean? You find your right ways that you're able to do it, and then you just have to be fearless in putting it out there and knowing that, you know, my audience, whether they know me or not, they're going to feel something from this, and it's going to put me out there in a way that leads people to my music or leads people into what I'm doing. So
absolutely,
you just got to trust it.
And Wix was saying, he was actually talking about you and putting you in a really good light, saying that like whenever you two hang out, you're always grinding, like you're always editing, like you're doing everything just to make it.
If I ever see that boy scrolling, I'm going to have to say something like, bro, what are we doing right now? How are we betting ourselves? I want everyone listening right now is to ask yourself, are you better than what you were yesterday? Like, look at me real quick. Like, look at me. Look at it. Just a quick thought. So, you know, time really flies, you know.
It does, man. Especially
in your 20s. And so it's okay, no matter where you are. Just make sure you're better than what you were yesterday.
And lock in.
Just a quick little lock in, baby.
Lock in. That's good. All right, last question. You recently, I think both of you played your dad in basketball. Who took the dub?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Dad took the dub on that one.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Your dad can hoop. He got that.
He got injured. He always gets injured every game. So he always gets injured somehow. But he always wins, man. I don't know how. This man's got this Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway shot down packed and does not miss.
Hits it every single time.
Does not miss.
That's crazy.
But I advise anybody out there, just make sure you don't meet me at the rim. I definitely make sure people are aware of that. Ooh. Wix is, you know, he learned a couple times. So,
yeah.
I gotta say one more thing. This is a little off topic, but me and Wyatt, we do got another EP on the way, and I want to announce that.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
exclusive. We got EP on the way.
We got another project on the way, and this one's gonna be different than the last one, but it's really exciting. Wyatt, you want to add on that?
Yeah, I don't want to give you all the title, but let me give you a quick hint. See that right there?
Wait, where? Oh my goodness! There you have it.
I just appreciate you having us, and
Of course.
one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to come on here is like one, obviously, because I knew we would have such a great interview, and I seen the amount of time and energy that you put into your reels and content, and I was just like, man, this guy's gonna go so far. Like me and Wyatt have pulled up your videos a couple times and just loved how you edit things. You're so entertaining. So just stay at it, and you know, I specifically wanted to support this any way I could, and just say thank you, bro.
It means the
for
world,
having
bro.
us on here, and I'm glad Wyatt could come up
This
too.
is crazy. Yeah, no, this is awesome.
Yes, sir.
That's that. That's that.